Good morning and welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, where we are ready to get into some action. It is the Permco Superbikes at Mid-Ohio in this 10th anniversary season of the MotoAmerica Championship, and the first time in 10 years that we have two-wheel racing back at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And you can see the fans have come out in droves to be able to witness it. And I said it's time for our first bit of action this morning. We are getting straight into some racing. Unfortunately, we had inclement weather roll into the racetrack yesterday. It delayed the schedule just a little bit. There were a few races we were unable to get to. The first of them that will have a double header here on this Sunday at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is the Mission Super Hooligans category. I'm Jamie Howe, joined by Roger Hayden. And Roger, we've had the morning warm-up sessions. We've had the qualifying sessions. Now it is finally time for these hooligans to go racing.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of a different day for these guys, having two races in one day, so it's going to be fun to watch. We see some new names at the front this weekend. The championship battle's getting tighter, so I'm looking forward to it.
We have a huge field of hooligan riders out there this weekend. Almost 40 of them have set to qualify for the racing here this weekend. But we have 10 different manufacturers.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about this class is, you know, all the manufacturers can get in, and that's great for the riders because it gives them support. People want to let their bikes out here and show everyone what it can do.
Well, before we get these riders out there on the racetrack for race number 1 here this weekend, let's take a look back at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This was race number 1.
Yeah, race 1. All these races have been so good this year. The two Saddleman guys were qualified on pole. Both of them got a great start. Tyler O'Hara, great start, and also Stefano Mesa. Look at him there, fourth on the Energica. Early on, Tyler O'Hara on Jake Lewis makes a mistake up into the corkscrew. Somehow he was able to keep it on track and stay in the lead. See, Hayden Schultz also early on in the race was really quick there as these riders go up over turn 1, and the corkscrew seemed to be the spot where everybody was trying to make a pass. Tyler O'Hara again down into turn 5. Look at Corey West looking up the inside again through turn 6. And then the last corner looked like one of the favorite passing spots for Tyler O'Hara. You see his teammate Troy Herfoss was able to get in this group as well, headed toward the last lap, getting closer to his teammate there as he goes past Corey West. These 5 riders broke away from the pack. See this battle, it was just hard to keep up with. It seemed every single corner they were changing spots, and then the last lap, last corner, Tyler O'Hara takes a huge lunge. Corey West gets on the throttle, makes a mistake, kills his drive. Tyler O'Hara was able to remain in front for the win.
And you could see how frustrated Corey West was there behind Tyler O'Hara, having to settle for that second place finish. Hard to believe that number 1 plate on board Tyler O'Hara's Indian, and that was his first win of the season so far, but he has been able to finish on the podium 5 times, which is why he remains our championship points leader, but only 8 points ahead of Corey West.
Yeah, it's really close, and even Cody Wyman and Jake Lewis, Troy Herfoss, our pole sitter, 39 points back. A win this weekend would be huge for him.
And it's a doubleheader Sunday for all of these riders. So before we get them out on the grid, you can see them all getting ready to exit pit lane. Let's go ahead and get down to pit lane with our own Michael Hill.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Sorry, it's really loud here as the bikes go out onto the circuit. Green flag just being waved, so the riders now are making their way around. If you are new to MotoAmerica, if you're new to motorcycle racing, what happens now is we call it a sighting lap. The riders are leaving the pit lane. They're going to go right away around this 2.4-mile circuit, and then they're going to line up here on the grid. Now, in some of the races today, we are going to have what's called a quick start procedure. So normally, we'll have all the different formalities. There'll be members of the team on the grid, possibly some promotional activities going on, promotional goals on the grid as well. None of that happens in a quick start. So the riders go around, they line up on the grid right opposite me here. There will be one mechanic or one team personnel member from each team. That is just really to make sure that the riders are in their correct grid spots. They know exactly what is going on. Those representatives will then be told to leave the grid. There will then be a green flag that is waved. Riders will then go around on a warm-up lap, and that is the last chance really for them just to get their eye in before lights go out. They're going to line up on the grid, and then they will go racing. As Jamie's already said, no racing yesterday because of the weather, so it is going to be a double race today. So it's going to be pretty exciting. As I said, it's a quick start procedure, so I can't get on the grid, but I know that one gentleman certainly that is going to be be watching this with a keen eye is Roland Sands, and I believe he has made it up to join Jamie and Roger in the commentary box.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Roland now alongside us up here. We've got the bird's eye view here. Roland Sands, this is a tremendous weekend for this Hooligans category. 39 riders out there at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, we're excited to see these guys get out here. I mean, it's been 22 years since I've been out here. I think last time I was out here, Roger wasn't even racing yet. Tommy and Nikki were riding 250s.
Wow.
I have a lot of memories of this place, a lot of great memories. So to be back out here with this large of a Hooligan grid just means a lot to me. And I think it's great to see these guys out here. And we have so many different brands involved in the series this year. And we're making a huge presence here at Mid-Ohio.
10 different manufacturers out there on the grid. There's a little mini Hooligan. There you go.
Yeah.
Nobody work on that bike?
Future Hooligan rider right there.
There you go. Oh, here we go. I think there's your future rider.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Families able to come out to these great road races and be able just to have a fun day, everyone all together. There was someone in front of me coming into the racetrack this morning. It was a dad that was riding his bike, and with the sidecar, he had his 2 kids sitting in the sidecar on their way into the racetrack. There's your rider, Hawk Mazzato.
Yeah, Hawk Mazzato on the Trackhouse RSD Indian FTR, right behind Chris Fillmore on a pre-production KTM 990. Got a little bit of drama for that this weekend, putting this pre-production bike out there, but KTM wants to be competitive, and we want to give them the ability to test the bike on the racetrack, and this is where we do it.
No, that's great to be able to see the next generation of technology out here as well. Warm-up lap now underway.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is brought to you by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories. By Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. And by Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com.
As the warm-up lap is underway, let's get a good look, Roger. Take us around this 2.4-mile Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Yeah, what a fun track is. Roland just mentioned it. Really quick on these Hooligan bikes, turn 1 all the way up to turn 4, and then it is a long straightaway down into turn 6. And from there, it's a really busy turn 6 all the way to turn 11 with a lot of elevation through Thunder Valley into 13, a really fast lap. Then the track slows down into 14, into the last corner, up over a little hill, start-finish line.
Got a lot of riders here, 39 of them in total were entered for this weekend's festivities. We'll take a look at the starting grid. Starting on row number 1, our pole sitter, Troy Herfoss. Alongside him, his teammate Tyler O'Hara, and then Travis Wyman.
Then we got Corey West, Chris Fillmore, and Hayden Schultz.
Row number 3, Cody Wyman, Dominic Doyle, and Jake Lewis.
Stefano Mesa, Hawk Mazzato, and Nate Kern.
Go back to row number 5. We've got Jordan Eubanks, Cole King, and AJ Peasley.
Row 6, Andrew Berkeley, Rich Foster, and Josh Baird.
Row number 7, starting off with Steven Shakespeare on his new bike, Anthony Sansada and Jeff Lane.
Then Dylan Wall, Aiden Mendoza, and Mitchell Stein.
We are not done yet. Row number 9, we've got Bryson Stein, Rodney Vest, and Leroy Eschman.
Then we got Josh Siegel, Kevin Grimmel.
Go back to row number 11, it's Sam Povich, Paul Canal, and Joseph Katzberg. Being told that as all of these riders are out there in their grid positions, there was a bike down. I believe this is in turn 13. This is the number 38 machine. Here's a replay of what happened. Look at the back of the screen.
Oh, that's a little cold tire crash right there is what that is.
It's Leroy Eschelman. We did see the corner marshals there. They are getting that bike out of the way. We do have a standing start delay. You see the yellow flag that is waving there at the start-finish line.
We've had a lot of rain this week too, and you know, the new pavement, the rubber keeps getting washed off. We had a lot of rain, so man, even if you're just a little bit offline, you can get where the track's a little bit dirty, and that's what happens.
And some of these Hooligan guys, you know, they don't have a couple, they may not have 2 sets of wheels. Some of these guys are fairly low budget guys, and maybe the tire warmers weren't on the tires long enough. That happens. We had a real quick go from practice to race today, so not a lot of gap in between there.
That delay that we have out here on the start-finish line right now, you can see the rider is up, looking down at his hands, obvious disappointment as he shakes his head. The delay that we have here, Roland, what do the riders need to be concerned with now?
Well, they're going to be a little concerned with their tires cooling off. You know, they had them on the warmers, and the track isn't as hot as it's been throughout the weekend. It's a little cooler today, a little bit of wind as well. So they're just going to be hoping this happens quickly, and they don't have to do a second warm-up lap.
Medics now over there to Leroy just to make sure everything is all right. He's going to have to give him the verbal "I'm okay" before they'll clear him of any medical conditions. You take a look back at the grid, some riders looking around. They're all wondering what's going on here. It's a start delay. They're being given the information. Of course, they can look around and they could look and see, you know, who is it that's missing, what's happened, but you know, they're out there on the start-finish line without a whole lot of information.
Yeah, and Roland, do these guys have to worry about overheating issues?
These bikes aren't like the baggers because they're all water-cooled now. Well, I think there are a few air-cooled bikes on the track. Nate Kern's on his BMW. I think there's another BMW on the track, but
you can see some of the confusion here out on the grid, but we do have another look at this number 38. This is a ground level Insta360 shot.
Yeah, it just looks like he lost it into the corner and it kind of swapped both ends there and it kind of went off the outside. They look like a rough crash. I was glad to see him get up and be okay.
Men and women in our TV truck are incredible, be able to find all of these replays. You made that point, Roland, about the tires cooling off, and with that, these riders are now going to be able to leave their grid positions. We're going to do one more warm-up lap.
Yeah, that's always sketchy. You know, you come off the warmers, you got a lot of confidence when you come off the warmers and you're ready to rip. And when your bike's been sitting for a minute, I know how it feels to sit there on the grid and let your tires cool off. You don't want to heat cycle these tires. They're real particular about how they work. So, yeah, there's a little bit of stress involved in that, no doubt.
Everything will settle down with the starting grid. We will get to racing here as quickly as possible. Bikes now up to power. We're going to do one more warm-up lap, like we mentioned, make sure everybody is good to go before we officially get this race started. But you saw there might have been a problem there. Was that
Jake Lewis had his hand up?
He did have his hand up looking down, yep.
And we've seen him have problems on Friday. He missed that first qualifier Friday afternoon, had to, you know, do the lap time Saturday morning where the track wasn't nearly as well. He's been really fast this week.
And it's not just this week. He's been on the podium 3 times this season. He won a race back at the Ridge Motorsports Park. Number 85 is who we're talking about.
Yeah, he's looking down, but then I seen him coming up through the keyhole, and it looked like he got going. So not sure what happened there.
Yeah, it always gets under your skin when you have a little bit of an issue on the start. Man, you want all the confidence, you want all the direction going towards going fast and not trying to figure out what's wrong with your motorcycle. So that's a struggle for Jake. I'm sure the Saddleman guys are scratching their heads right now, but hey, it looks like he's on his way.
Full field coming back around for the second warm-up lap. You can see all the fans at the fence line getting ready for the first racing action of the day here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're hearing that Nate Kern on the number 9 having an issue here as well on this warm-up lap.
Yeah, that's Nate Kern on the BMW.
You can see him slow. This race originally was scheduled to be 7 laps, but with some of these holdups here, the race has now been shortened down to 6 laps. So this will be a 6th lap. You almost have to call that a shootout.
It's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a quick day, and it feels like rain out there when you walk outside, so we're just all praying we get through this one in one piece in the dry.
You've got another race this afternoon as well, so a lot of action still to come for these 39 riders in the Mission Super Hooligan category.
And it looks like that's going to give Nate Kern another opportunity this afternoon to race again.
Yep,
so, yeah, 2 races in one day. It's a wild one.
You saw Nate Kern pull into the pits. Everyone else in their grid position. It is time to get ready to go racing. You can see the red flag there at the start of the field. Green flag waving in the background. That means we are good to go. Lights are in the corner of your screen. They're on. We are racing at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's Mission Super Hooligan. You see that number 1 plate, Tyler O'Hara, having to settle back. It looks like he's going to go into turn 1 in second.
I think that's Troy Herfoss. Got a decent start, but he looks like he's fading a little bit there.
Chris Fillmore with the problem. You see him there with his hand up. It's a scary place to be when you're toward the front of the pack and you have a mechanical issue and you're slowing down.
What a great start for Travis Wyman.
The Pan America's got off the line great. The number 10 of Travis Wyman, he's looking for some good results this weekend, absolutely. I know he's had a little bit of a tough weekend on Dagger.
Got that number 13 is Saddleman teammate Corey West there right behind him. Also hearing that the number 11 is having an issue. Chris Fillmore being slow. He is now pulled off of the racetrack. Hopefully he can get out of the way. We can remain green here. Still working lap number 1 of this now 6-lap race for Mission Super Hooligans.
Good first lap for Jake Lewis there on the 3rd row. He's already working his way past the Factor Indian guys.
Yeah, Travis Wyman going quicker than he's been able to go all weekend, looking super good out there in the lead. I know he's got a lot to prove on that Hooligan bike. He wants to show that he can compete with everybody else.
See that 17 of Troy Herfoss.
Oh, Travis.
Travis has a problem.
Wow. This is like one of those days. There's a lot of guys having bike problems today.
Saw him put his hand up, but he did not make that decision to go into pit lane. I wonder if he's able to get it back to power, just letting the field get by so he can stay out of the way for a little bit.
That's a heartbreaker right there, man. Corey West taking advantage of it.
And this is big in terms of the championship. Corey West is sitting 2nd in the championship point standings, only 8 points behind Tyler O'Hara, who has that number 1 plate right there, who's having to fight himself back up to the front of this field. But Corey West has clean track in front of him.
And you got Herfoss being shuffled back right there behind Cody Wyman. I expected Troy, after his bagger race, to be right there in front. I wonder if he's got a problem, but Tyler also going back a little bit.
You saw that weather graphic there in the bottom of the screen. You said it felt like rain. Well, it's 89% humidity out there right now with this thick cloud cover, so it certainly does feel like rain. But what a great run so far for Corey West.
Also, Jake Lewis, Hayden Schultz, they've kind of closed down that battle for the lead. You see the 4th, 5th, 6th guys are also starting to close it down as well.
And we've got a Harley-Davidson Pan America top 4. Kind of unexpected after the qualifying results. And seeing Troy starting to fade a little bit there in the back, and our closest Indian rider.
Cody Wyman there on the 34 having a good ride as well. He's got a walking boot. He's hurt his ankle, so he's not full fitness.
And this is such a physical track. I mean, it really is. You move around on the bike so much here, and it's such a great flow as well when you get in the groove.
It's Troy Herfoss, number 17. He was our pole sitter. Did not have a great start. That's why he is further back. And
yeah, you gotta wonder if something's going on with the bike to have Troy fading like that. That's not how Troy usually lays it down.
And these are short races. There's not enough time. If you have a problem early on, you have a hard time making up for it.
Absolutely. It's like Tyler's trying to slot himself back in there and make that Indian part of this top 5 battle. I know he wants to make his way up to a podium position.
Jake Lewis is looking for a way by. Around the outside on the brakes into 6. He's going to put his head down from this point of the track where you can make a break.
Jake Lewis has a lot of laps here this weekend, competing in 3 different categories. And it's one of the things that these Hooligan riders said after practice and qualifying, that with 39 bikes out on the racetrack, it was really hard to get a clean lap. But in the case of Jake Lewis, who's doing so many categories, he had those clean laps, just not on this bike.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler O'Hara getting his way back by Cody Wyman and slotting that Indian into 4th place. And it's still a Harley-Davidson Pan America 1, 2, 3 up front, and the Saddleman guys got to be pumped to have their 2 riders leading this thing right now.
You see that number 49, Hayden Schultz. It's a great run for him as well. He qualified 6th, so being up inside of the top 3. He said 6 laps. All right, well, I've got to get myself up there and do something early.
Absolutely, and the Pans are definitely showing their speed. This class has been a matter of balance and a matter of trying to get all of these bikes in the same place. They all, Pan America is actually an off-road bike. which is kind of wild, racing against an Indian FTR, you know?
That's a great category. I love it when the guys say this is bar banging at its best. They've said we're the biggest group of misfits you can find at the racetrack, but they all have such a great time in this format of racing.
Absolutely, and you can see the lap times were a little bit down on qualifying, so this track's green.
It's been a little green all day in the warm-ups. Look at Hayden Schultz there down into turn 6, hard on the brakes.
Wasn't able to hold it, though.
But you see that number 1 plate right there waiting for the opportunity. That is Tyler O'Hara, our championship points leader in defense of his title from last year. He was able to get his first win of the season back at Laguna Seca, and Corey West was able to win the second race that weekend. So for Tyler, he just wants to extend this points lead. It's coming down to the 2 of them, just 8 points separating first and second.
You can kind of see that battling back and forth for second and third. Just let Jake pull out a couple bike links.
Yeah, Jake's got that sniff of clean air, and the last time we saw this, he disappeared at the ridge. So,
yeah, that last, just in that third sector, Jake Lewis was able to gain 5/10 of a second, so half a second, extending that gap over Corey West. You talk about that clean air, and you can certainly see it stretching its legs now. See the championship points as they sit right now. This is if they were to throw the checkered flag. Corey West finishes second. Tyler O'Hara, if he were to finish fourth as they're running, that battle is down to just 1 point. That's how tight it is at the top.
you know, Tyler always seems to find himself in that position where he's going to be able to fight for the championship. He has ever since this series has started. He's won the last 2 championships. He has a tremendous amount of grit, and if he can put himself in the place to make up some points, he's going to do that.
Well, the only time this season he hasn't finished on the podium was in the second race back at Daytona, and he finished 4th, so it's that consistency.
Absolutely, and he won his first race at Laguna this year.
He did, yep. Yep. He's consistently inside that top 3, just collecting points.
Well, he can see his championship rival, Corey West, and he's just out of touch right now, but let's see him give it up.
So for Jake Lewis, leading this race, his last time by, he did his fastest time of a 1:30.3, and while the track is still very green and we're not into those qualifying times, in the case of Jake Lewis, he is over a second faster than what he was in qualifying. So he is turning his best times of the weekend in this first race in Super Hooligans, and with the white flag now flying, this is going to give him nothing but momentum for this afternoon.
That's always a great feeling when you're able to go faster than you did in qualifying. On race tires. This isn't not a tremendous amount of laps, but still great to build that momentum, especially when he's got another race in 2 hours.
I love this fight out of Hayden Schultz. He is not letting Corey West go.
You can see how hard Hayden's pushing there. Did you see the bike moving around?
You know, these bikes, when they do move around as well, you got a lot of input on the handlebars because they got wide handlebars, and when they do move around, you got to make sure you're loose, because if you're tightened up, they will tuck the front.
Jake Lewis with clean track in front. That is the gap from first to second to third. Yeah. Working the final lap of this race.
Tyler O'Hara, unfortunately, has fallen off the back of these top 3 riders, giving these guys a gap, and we're at Pan America top 3 right now.
And then that gap behind Tyler O'Hara to his teammate Troy Herfoss, that's grown by over 2 seconds. So the rest of the field is going to have some work to do before the second race later on this afternoon. But up at the front, it is clean action and clear sailing for Jake Lewis, continuing to lead this race. It was a phenomenal start to the race for Jake, able to make quick work.
One more opportunity for Hayden, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Not a lot of room.
All right, as Jake Lewis comes around this final turn, taking the checkered flag, Jake Lewis winning this first race here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, his 2nd win of the season, starting from the 3rd row. He did that one in dominating fashion. And
Jake is stoked, and I guarantee you David Saddleman is shouting and screaming right now, and the Saddleman boys, they worked their ass off this weekend, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, and all the issues Jake had in qualifying and being fast all weekend and able to come here and get the win. But look at the battle for Second and third, Hayden was right there trying to get a really good run out of that last corner, but just didn't get close enough.
No, that second and third, Hayden finished that less than 0.06 of a second behind Corey West, while Jake Lewis had a 1.2 second gap on the rest of the field. Look at his lap progression. He was able to dip down into the 130s on lap 2 and then doing his best lap there on that 4th lap of the race. Say goodbye to Roland Sands and thank you for coming up here and joining us for this Super Hooligan racing action. As Jake Lewis continues this cool down lap, making his way over to the podium. Cannot wait to hear from him. I know he's going to explode with excitement.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is brought to you by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories. By Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. And by Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com.
Take a look at the full results from this race number 1. Jake Lewis, our race winner, followed by his Saddleman teammate Corey West, and then Hayden Schultz making up the podium.
And then the Indians, Tyler O'Hara, Troy Hertfoss, 4th and 5th. Cody Wyman there. You see Dominic Doyle on the Yamaha 7th, Stefano Mesa 8th, Huck Mazzata 9th, and Cole King there at the top 10.
It was tight there at the top, but the rest of this field has got some work to do before their second race of the day. It is a doubleheader. If you're just joining us here in the Mission Super Hooligan category, did not get to race yesterday. That's why we ran one this morning. We'll run another one this afternoon, and this championship battle continues to heat up as we watch the field now. Coming down pit lane, we're going to watch our top 3 as they make this ride through the garage area and through the beginning stages of the paddock to get over to be able to celebrate and collect some hardware at the podium.
Yeah, look at those fans right there, able to stand there as the riders pull right in off the track and be there at the podium as well. It's kind of pretty awesome to be able to come here and get that close.
No, it's a great thing about MotoAmerica. It's not just here at Mid-Ohio. Every ticket into one of these MotoAmerica races gets you the same exact behind-the-scenes access, and you get to go into the paddock, into the garage area. You can come over to the podium. So if you're here at Mid-Ohio and you haven't made your way over to celebrate a podium and see one in person yet, make your way over later on this afternoon. We have a lot of racing to happen, and you can certainly celebrate with all of these riders.
Yeah, it's great to see Jake's mom there, right there with him, able to be here and watch her son get a win.
That was a great victory for Jake Lewis. I know Michael Hill is standing right there in the middle of all of it. Michael, let's get down to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. 3 very, very happy guys down here, as you can imagine. Obviously, the Saddlemen team, the happiest. We're going to give Jake just a second to take off his helmet, and then we're going to get right into the mix. This is one of the beauties, isn't it, of MotoAmerica for the people watching on MotoAmerica Live. Plus, you get right in the heart of the action. Jake just acknowledges that he's down here. Can we just move in now? I think we probably can. Jake, I know you're just talking to the team there. Let's get across here next to the bike if we can. A fantastic way to start your Sunday here, Jake. You said to me earlier in the weekend that you thought you had the pace to be on the podium and to possibly win in a couple of categories. Well, you weren't lying, were you? That was impressive.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's honestly been an up and down weekend on the Hooligan bike so far. But every session I've been out in, I've been either first or second. So I knew I had a good feeling, but starting 9th was tough. But I think I was 5th coming out of turn 1, and then Fillmore looked like he had a little bit of issue and was up into 4th quick. And then Corey and I talked before the race. You know, I know the Indian boys are going to try to play their game, so figured I'd fire one off on the first lap under O'Hara there and kind of stood him up. And then after that, I was like, this is mine to lose. You know, as far as championship-wise, I have to win these races, and that's my only goal is either win or I'm going to end up in the grass. So I rolled my ass off. But a big thank you to the whole Saddleman race development team. You know, they've been working so hard on these Harley-Davidson Pan Americas, and it's a nice way to reward them. And I'm excited for that one. You know, sometimes, you know, winning I don't get too excited, but I was really pumped for that. It's been 10 years since we've been here, and last time we were here I won as well. So it feels good to do it in front of these Mid-Ohio fans. And a big thank you to Bell Helmets, 4SR Leathers, Mission Foods, just my whole family, my fiance watching back home, and everyone else who supports me. Thank you.
Great job, of course, and Jake Lewis has got another chance later on to maybe do the double. There's a massive crowd here at Mid-Ohio, and big smiles also for the guy in second place. It's a 1-2 for the Saddleman team and Corey West. Oh, this championship is going all the way to the wire, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we needed. I wish Jake would have been nice to me and let me win that one, but he had his head down. I'm happy with second. Good to see the championship leader finish off the box. You know, it's just good for us. You know, we're going to keep charging, and, you know, big shout out to the Saddleman guys. They work their butts off. All the people that help, Mission Foods, Motul, Noms, everybody. It's just, you know, we got another one later this afternoon. I'm ready to get after it.
Excellent stuff. Corey West then in second place. And let's keep that applause going down here in the park for as we move across to Hayden Schultz, who's equally got a smile on his face with that one. A hard-fought race, so close to second. How was that from your perspective, Hayden? Good job?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race for us. Really happy to put the KWR Harley-Davidson back on the box. Huge thanks to One Cure for stepping up and sponsors for the rest of the year. I mean, I'm not satisfied with podiums anymore. I'm showing up to win these races, and I'm really disappointed. We couldn't get it done, but luckily we get to grid up here in a couple hours, and I'm going to put my head down and see if I can make it happen. But these guys rode a great race. I got to give my hats off to them because I was throwing everything I had at it, and just wasn't good enough this race. But I'm going to get back to it this next one because I know I've got the pace to do it. Just got to make it happen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hayden. We're going to hand back upstairs to Jamie and to Roger as we get ready for our first podium. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you. And Roger, as we get ready for the rest of the afternoon, take a look at the highlights from this race.
Yeah, there was a lot of action right away, right there from the front row. You see Corey West there making a good jump. He needs to make up points. He mentioned it early on. Travis Wyman, his teammate, was able to lead through the keyhole. You see they go into turn 6. Jake Lewis, look at him riding around the outside. A couple of the Indian guys, and then Travis Wyman there having some trouble, got his hand up, so all the riders behind him know that he is having an issue. At this point in the race, you see Jake Lewis starting 9th, works his way toward the front in the draft of his teammate, able to make a really good pass around the outside. Such a hard pass down into turn 6. And from there, Jake Lewis had his head down doing personal best laps. Knew that he needed to win this race if he was going to have any shot at the title, and he was able to get that done.
I love the excitement out of all of these riders. It was a commanding victory, 1.2 seconds after just 6 laps for Jake Lewis. And I also love, it's refreshing, there were no team orders. You heard Corey West saying, I wish he would have let me win this one in that championship hunt. But for Jake Lewis, he said, no, I'm here to win races as well. And he certainly did that today. Gonna have another opportunity this afternoon for Super Hooligans riders to race number 2 later on this afternoon. Let's take a look at the championship point standings. It gets even tighter. Tyler O'Hara in defense still leading the way, but now only 1 point over Corey West. And Jake Lewis closing the gap up himself. Cody Wyman still there in 4th, and then Troy Herfoss in 5th. We're gonna take a break. Mike on the mic up right after this.
Hey, it's Max Linders here. I'm racing with the king of the baggers from Mad Monkey Motorsports, and we are so happy to have Lindell Brakes on